we go.
This is a band that you need to get to know, the Wilcox Project. Right, I'm going to end that. The telephone is too close to the, dang, too close. The telephone was too close to the computer. Hi, everybody. How's everyone doing today? Hi, everybody. Right, I'm going to end that. What is going on? Close to the. There we go. Technical difficulties. Okay, guys. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Survivor Series, and I'm your host, Higgy. The Survivor Series is an original product of No More Heroin, and we showcase success stories of people in recovery from all sides of the addiction issue that's decimating our country today. I started doing this show about a year and a half ago, and it's grown on me. It's grown on me. I wanted to, showcase people, let them tell their story, let them empower other people to show them that there's hope. And I found out after doing this for a while that I need that hope as much as anyone else. And I have a great guest tonight, Boris Schaak from Hollywood, California. We're going to be going through his history. We're going to share his experience, strength, and hope. We're going to talk about physical fitness as it relates to recovery. And welcome, Boris. Thank you for being here with us. Can you hear me? You can't hear me? Boris. Can you hear me?
Hey, how you doing? Higgy, I have a little bit of a problem. I can see you on my phone, but I can't see you on my computer, and I don't have any sound.
Oh, wow. I don't know what to do about that. We're broadcasting, though. You got 3 viewers.
There's nothing on the computer. I only have a connection. Yes. I can hear you. Yes.
You're listening to your phone instead of me.
Wow.
I don't know what to do about that.
Hey, I'm just going to switch. Hold on. I'm just going to switch. Give me 5 seconds. I'm going to switch my headpiece.
Take it out. What's up, Timothy Brammer? It's good to see you, my man. Palm Springs, California in the house. Now we're froze. They're having some terrible weather in Los Angeles right now, and Boris is froze. So, I don't know. Boris, are you there? Well, hopefully he'll come back and join us again. Well, how's everybody doing out there tonight? Hi, Doreen. How are you?
All right. Now I got it.
Are you there?
I don't know what happened. You were completely gone for a second. Sorry about that, guys. All right. Technical difficulties. Here we are.
So, Boris, you're a fitness fitness and recovery coach, nutritional coach, all of those things, but you're also a person in recovery.
Yes.
Can you give us a little bit of your background, what the backstory behind Boris Schaak is, Boris Fitness?
Of course, absolutely. So I was born and raised in Berlin, Germany, and I was an exchange student in '82. And after I stayed here in the States for about a year and a half, going back home, I wanted to live in the States. And in '91, I moved. After the wall came down in Berlin, I moved to Los Angeles, and became, through my love of weightlifting, working out. I went to Gold's Gym in Venice. I did a couple of competitions in different sports, and I became a personal trainer. I did pretty well, and how we do. At some point, at the height of my career, I just won a competition in Las Vegas, and one of my buddies said, "Hey, let's go out and party." And I've never really, short of smoking a couple of joints in high school, and never really partake in drinking and using. And here I am at 32, I think, and I started to party, and within 5-6 years, I burnt my life down, going from training, movie stars on movie sets and going to people's houses in Malibu and train their families, to being homeless in the streets of Los Angeles for a better part of 2 years.
What was your drug of choice?
It started with, right from the start, it was cocaine, and then it became crystal meth. And I did drink quite a bit, to get the perfect balance between the speedy high from the crystal meth to trying to sort of, calm down a little bit. I went to alcohol, and I went to OxyContin, and almost I was on my way to get a really good heroin addiction. I never shot it up, but I did smoke it quite a bit. I think we're old timers. We call that a speedball.
For sure.
I actually doing stupid stuff like just pouring it all in a bowl together and smoking both at once. Looking back, having my sober date is March 7, 2007. So months and a half. Coming up on 12 years.
12 years. Congratulations.
Thank you. Well, thank you for congratulating me that I ran out of a burning building.
Lost your hair in the process.
Yes, absolutely. Well, actually, I did that for all the rest of you guys. I figured I was too cute and pretty, and I didn't want to cause too much trouble for you other guys in life. So I figured I'd do you a favor and cut my hair, give you a chance in life.
Good man. So what was it like when you came to the United States, from Germany as an exchange student? Was there a culture shock? Was there a need to fit in? What was it like, that transition?
Wow. Now here's, we could talk about forever. Of course, it's quite, a culture shock. I mean, I came here when I was 4. I barely spoke English. I just learned for about a year or so. We just started learning English in German school. And then I come to a school, and the American way of life, if we're thinking back to 1982, around that time, it's a completely different way of life. And I actually have a pretty cool story with this exchange family that I was with. They're doing an extensive background check on the parents to make sure that everything is on the up and up. But apparently they didn't do any background check on us kids, because first weekend the daughter of this family was like, "Hey, so my boyfriend's gonna come pick me up." And this girl at the time, I think she was like 16 or 17 years old. She was like, "My boyfriend's gonna pick me up Friday night, and I dance at this club in the city. You want to go?" And we're in the back of the car, because of course I went. And I go, "What's the name of the club?" And let me think, what was the name? Oh yeah, Studio 54. So here I am.
Yes. Big discotheque.
Here I am, 14 years old. And I'm going, man, these people eat a lot of sugar, but why the spoons are so small? Because everybody was doing cocaine. And luckily, I did not get into that at the time. But thinking back, I always told myself, oh, I didn't drink that much. And then I remember, oh, wait a second, we were at that club 3-4 nights a week, 14, 15 years old, and I would get drunk, every night. Of course, you recover differently when you're young. I would be back, at the gym the next day, working out. Working out was part of my life ever since I was 13, I think. I came from a martial arts background, and to the horror of my mother at the time, I went to see Arnold Schwarzenegger and Conan the Barbarian, and for me that was it. I was like, okay, I want to be that guy. And you can't see it now, but I had my hair grow. I had like shoulder long hair, and I made my mom get me a gym membership, and I would be at that damn gym 7 days a week, thinking that's the way to go. So right from the get-go, my behavior was completely alcoholically. I mean, I would do everything over the top or not at all.
That's right. So coming from the German culture, drinking is more socially acceptable, right?
Yes, especially at the time. I mean, I remember my stepdad at the time would always send me down to the liquor store and get a beer, or what's really big back then was Jägermeister. I mean, Jägermeister is in Germany what Pepto-Bismol is here in the States. Yeah. You have one or two just with dinner to get a good digestion going. I mean, that's what we kids learned.
I've had
a little bit of a different
Jägermeister as well.
Yeah. Tradition. So, because of my, getting into a fitness lifestyle at around 13 years old, lifting weights, I sort of, I didn't really get into drinking and smoking pot like all the other teenagers around me, everybody at school. Well, in Germany, we didn't really have pot. We have what's called hashish. Mm-hmm. It's what they smoke out there. And I did it a couple of times, but I was like, hey, I want to be like Arnold. I'm going to go work out. And then when I actually did, 10 years later, start, drinking, smoking weed here in the States, it took it, I didn't just do it a little bit. It was a lifestyle that completely ran parallel to my, my sort of fitness lifestyle. And it took over.
That progression, right?
Yeah.
So, can you tell us when you first realized you may have had a hint that you had a problem?
The first time, I was smart enough to go, okay, I might have a problem. So, I get up at 3:30 every morning because I have to be at the gym at 5 to train my first client. The first time I figured I have a problem, there's this guy, and his name is Richie Piana. He's since passed away, but Richie and me, we used to work together for about 20 years plus at the same gym down here in Hollywood, Gold's Gym. And I walked past him at 5 in the morning, and Richie was a massive guy. I mean, the guy was like 300 plus pounds, tattoos and everything. And I walked past him, and he pat me on the shoulder, with a heavy pat. He was like, "Good morning, man. Are we going to do this today or what?" And I kid you not, all my front teeth did one of these, like the whole row of teeth sort of moved forward as he's patting me on the back. And I froze. I was like, oh, wow. That's definitely from smoking too much crystal meth. I might have but maybe we're just drinking enough water today, but it'll be fine. But so I was way into my disease before I even had an inkling, because, that's because I had a sort of quote unquote healthy lifestyle. It took really a while for my body to break down and give me a signal going, hey, what you're doing to yourself is not okay. but then from there it progressively got worse. I'm really a lightweight when it comes to substances, and it doesn't really matter what the amount is, but I started out with such small amounts. I was always the joke of the party, because when I started doing cocaines, my lines were a quarter of what everybody else was doing. And when you party, you point at the guy with the smallest line and go, "What the hell are you doing? Come on, you'll be a man. Do this line. Do one that's like half a foot long."
Peer pressure.
So, yeah. Well, unfortunately, that's such a big part of addiction that I don't know about anybody else, but I remember, I didn't wake up one morning going, "Hey, I want to be addicted to crystal meth and, having to drink alcohol just to make it through the day." It started off with somebody going, "Hey, I've been doing this for a while. Why don't you join me? And we'll have some fun," And I became that guy that then later on brought people into my lifestyle, because today with the recovery, I know that I was looking for lower companions, because if I thought you're cool and you hang out with me and I'm making you do the same stuff that I do, then I must be okay, because
absolutely,
I'm going to get you to do much worse stuff or otherwise. And then I can explain to myself, you're a loser, and I still go work out. I still have a job. I still play, I think that's a big part, unfortunately, of the whole circle of addiction.
Absolutely. So what was your bottom like when you finally decided enough was enough, the pain was great enough? What was that like, and how you found your way out?
Well, like I mentioned earlier, my best thinking ended me up being homeless in the streets of Los Angeles. And when I mean homeless, I got my gym bag, and one of those back then, those like plastic bags with some more of my belongings, and I'm standing on the street corner, and because I didn't pay rent again for a couple of months at this place, and the landlord kicked me out, and my behavior was such that nobody really wanted to have me sleeping on their couch. So all of a sudden I'm standing going, wow, that was really, I've been a successful fitness coach before that for about 10, 12 years, making really good, making a good living, hanging out with people that you see on TV and, film every day. And all of a sudden, I'm the homeless guy with nowhere to go and no money. And the second day into this, I'm standing at the liquor store, and I'm sort of in a haze because I'm not quite drunk, but I'm also coming down because the money ran out, and I was trying to panhandle. So, these people walked by, and my best thinking was like, "Hey, so I've seen this before. Why didn't I just say no? I know it works. So, hey, mister, can you spare some change?" And the guy looks at me, looks me up and down, because even in my disease, I'm still like, weighing like 265 pounds, in the beginning, looking like I'm going to the gym. And the guy looks at me and goes, "Dude, get a freaking job, you loser." And that hit me so hard, the reality for a split second of what just occurred, that I instantly went to one of my buddy's house, and I was like, "I need a hit. I need some drugs. What do you got?" And luckily he had something, and I got out of my head for that moment. But being homeless, let's get real. I'm talking about eating out of garbage cans, behind McDonald's, looking at what other people throw away, and sleeping on the street corner, fighting with the other homeless guys about cardboard boxes so you wouldn't have to sleep directly on the concrete floor, building your little cardboard box tent for the night. That's where I ended up at. It was horrific, for this alcoholic. The other thing that was instrumental in my recovery, this homeless lifestyle, I missed a court appearance, of course, because I didn't get my mail because I didn't have my place anymore. and I got arrested for vagrancy, and found out I had a warrant out for my arrest. And I went to jail. It was right before it was October, beginning of October, in the Twin Towers. So, you know, Boris, you know, he would run through this, you know, through this planet. I always had to be the big guy. I always had to be the tough guy, the toughest guy in the room, the craziest guy in the room, the guy with all the answers. It was always, you know, that's what, you know, I didn't work out to be healthy. I went to the gym so I'd have this muscle armor so you wouldn't bother me, because I wanted you to stay away from me, and I wanted you to believe that I'm the tough guy. Well, finding out in jail that you're not the toughest guy in the room was a real shock. And my first time in jail at Twin Towers, I was in there for 4 months. And it was, you know, there's more drugs in prisons and in jails than out on the streets. So that was quite an experience. But so being homeless and going to jails definitely gave me a moment of clarity. When I got out of jail, I went straight to a meeting, and I tried to get sober, but because, you know, I was so much better than you, I didn't find it necessary to get a sponsor and do the steps. I kept on relapsing. You know, that being said, today I'm a huge 12-step guy. I understand that everybody has their own path for the recovery, but I'm a huge 12-step fan.
I am as well. I mean, that's where I found my solution. And I also had been a relapser. I didn't want to do all the work that was required to get that freedom. But once you go through the process and you feel that freedom, it's something that we can become addicted to instead of drugs. A healthy lifestyle change. And you were talking about coming out of prison. Was that your last use?
I came out of prison and I relapsed again. And yes, I had a very interesting, our recovery process, when we finally have short lapses of clarity. I'm here in Los Angeles. My home group is a place called the Bliss Cafe. It's actually a very interesting situation. It's a coffee shop that's open, and they have meetings while the shop's open. So, you have to really pay attention to the speaker, because people come in and order a blended shake, and you have to listen over to this blended drink to what's going on. But anyway, I went back to my home group, and, one more time to raise my hand and be like, yeah, I relapsed. And my attitude was that, I was so embarrassed because, don't you understand? I let I weakened the chain. I put everybody else's recovery in danger because I relapsed. So therefore, since I'm so important, right. I felt bad of letting everybody else down. And this lady, that was this lady that had long-term recovery. She looks and she goes, "I'm still sober. When are you going to decide to really get into this and understand that this is life and death?"
Oh, we lost him. We'll wait for him to jump back on. Los Angeles is having some really horrible storms out there right now. There you are. You're back.
Yeah, what's going on is that the storm out here, the rain, guys. I had 2 power outages already, so apologize. Which I think, but it's so amazing because I look back at my story, and I have such appreciation for all these horrible things that happened to me, because without a shadow of a doubt, I realized that all these horrible things had to happen for this knucklehead to go, let's pause a moment, play the movie through, and really, maybe give this a chance. Because, when the program, this 12-step program, if it doesn't work for me, it's because I'm not really giving it a chance. It's not that the program's not going to work, it's It's proven over and over again. It works if we work it, right? And I've never really found an angle to work it. And that's really where, my rebirth, my second story begins, because we talked about this earlier. I strongly believe that a huge part of recovery is understanding what consistency means. And I had no idea really, other than one day I'm sitting there and I go, hold on a second. I'm being told to get accountable, do 90 and 90, get a commitment, get a sponsor, and, get mixed into this, into the fellowship of the program. I'm sitting there going, that's just like a fitness program. When I work out, I have to know what muscle I'm going to work out at today. Depending on what kind of shape I want to get in, I have to not only know what kind of foods I'm going to eat, I'm also going to have to plan and make sure that these foods are available. And if this sounds like this has nothing to do with recovery, it's actually has everything to do with recovery, because if I don't, have a lifestyle that has a certain amount of nutrition in it, like we tell every high school kid, breakfast is the most important part of most important meal of the day. You got to eat a certain amount of food so these teenagers can go to school and take in all this information that high school is trying to relate to them. But when it comes to recovery process, we really don't tell people, hey, look, so you've been malnutrition for an X amount of sometimes years because you've been drinking and using, and food and nutrition just wasn't on the forefront of what you were thinking about. But now you're in rehab, and we completely expect you for the next, 4 to 8 to 12 weeks. We want you to be able to take in all this information. Well, the brain can't. It's like driving a Ferrari with no gas in the tank. It's not going to work. And that's really one aspect that I'm trying to bring into the recovery process with my company, Sober Fitness, that physical recovery is really not possible without what I call, fitness or quote unquote self-care program. Our literature in the big book tells us when discontent, have a piece of chocolate, which is correct. That works. But, the book was written all those years ago. And I believe that there's about 3 to 5 chapters missing here that could be really helpful for, the recovering addict to talk about what is self-care and how to implement that into my recovery process. And that's exactly what I'm doing. I'm educating people about the benefits of implementing a healthcare, a self-care program / fitness program into their lifestyle to strengthen their recovery. Because if you look at it, my body, my physical being is not separate from my recovery. It is my recovery.
Yeah. So we have a disease that's centered in our brain. We run chemicals and alcohol through our brain first, and it changes our brain chemistry. So
absolutely,
how does exercising help renew the brain chemistry? What's all involved with the endorphins and the serotonin levels?
Well, they're just not like 3 weeks ago. There's a study came out that finally, without a shadow of a doubt, showed research-wise that just one workout, a moderate workout for half an hour, will raise your serotonin levels. So serotonin are your quote-unquote happy hormones. And the way that it works is if you, for instance, you do a substance, a drug, that drug will fire all your serotonin all at once. And we all know this. If you've ever done a line of cocaine, your first line of cocaine or your first hit of crystal meth is amazing. And then you try to do it again 20 minutes later, and it's not the same because your brain just used up most, if not all, the serotonin. And it takes the body quite some time to replenish the system. So I have to use more and more substance to get the same effect. That's part of how the disease works. And, for the body to physically recover, it doesn't matter if it's a workout, a car accident injury that I need to recover from, or a drug addiction for the last 4 or 5 years. What you need is always the same. You need rest and you need nutrition. Cater to exactly your individual situation. It's just like a fitness plan. One plan does not fit for everybody else. So, for instance, what we're talking about for the serotonin to be replenished, one aspect of this process is you need to eat the right amount of nutrients. And look at what we're doing, where most of us come in broke and we smoke cigarettes and eat donuts. That's not going to get us, the desired effect. On the other hand, if you're, lucky enough to have insurance and you go to rehab, you have a rehab where you get catered. You'll get, you'll get catered food. You get breakfast, lunch, and dinner and snacks. And if it's a high-end rehab, it might be vegan or, personally catered to you. Mm-hmm. And that's great for the amount of time you go into rehab. But nobody taught the addict how to sustain that habit when they leave. So when they leave,
that's right,
they don't know how to sustain that.
Not everyone has that level of care available to them either.
Right. And that's, again, why it's so important that we, right from the beginning, integrate what is self-care, how do I implement it, and how do I make that work for the individual addict. And it's a conversation that does not happen often enough. Even when you have a situation where people mean well, for instance, you go to rehab and there's a gym available and they provided gym membership and they drop you off at the gym and they go, okay, go ahead, go work out. What does the addict do? They're, not only do they bring their old behaviors with them, and what I see at my gym, we get, recovering addicts from rehab bust in, and what do? They hang out up front, smoking cigarettes, talking to the girls, or, they work out super intense, trying to, start right off where they're finished before, their addiction got a hold of them. So they're most likely going to overdo it. And that's why I really teach that the fitness program needs to be catered to and for the addict and not left to the devices of the addict. Because if you're like me, I'm going to be at the gym 8 days a week, 3 hours at a time, and if I have that much time to work out the first 6 months, it might be beneficial if I work out a little less and do a little bit more step work.
Exactly. So, a fitness program needs to have structure, just like your recovery program does. There's a lot of aspects to both that coincide that make one accentuate the other, actually.
Absolutely. The first question that I have from my clients that I start working with is, what is your intention behind going to the gym? Because think about it. If you ask 10 people, why are you going to the gym? 10 people are going to say, because I want to look good. How many people say, I'm going to the gym because I want to start to feel good?
I do.
Here's the funny question.
Because I wanted to feel good, because I was mentally, physically, and spiritually broken and exhausted. And it was suggested to me that I address the physical aspect of my disease, because we have a threefold disease: mental, spiritual, and physical. And I have addressed two of them extensively. The third one, the physical part, I hadn't. So I found that working out, eating right, has renewed my vigor for life, for recovery, for interacting with people, and I'm so much more productive, and I have an interest that I've never had before.
Absolutely. Like we talked about earlier, right from the start, within your first workout, your happy hormone levels are going to get up, so you're going to feel better. You're going to have a positive learning curve. When you work out for 2 or 3 weeks, things will happen if you eat right and you sleep right and you don't, do any more drugs and alcohol. Actually, you're going to get a physical reaction that is pleasing to us. The problem is that the problem that I believe that we should be talking about is that if my actions are based in ego, if my best foot forward is based in ego, as an addict, that is going to run me in a circle right back where I came from. My program teaches me that I have to smash the ego. If I go to the gym and I'm only interested in the end result of looking good, of showing off for the girls how much I can bench press, and show off to the other big guys that I'm a tough guy, then all those actions are based in ego. So I really want to have a conversation in the recovery situation where we have a conversation with the client, with the patient, with the person in rehab, and actually talk to them and get them ready emotionally and spiritually to get ready for a workout. Because unless I come from a place of self-love and self-acceptance in this moment right now, and I can find that moment of self-acceptance and say, oh, okay, so I want to, feel better, and these actions will lead me there. That's a whole different outlook than saying, I feel less than. Look at all these people here in the gym that have been working out forever. They're in so much better shape. I want to look better so I can fit in. And then one more time, it's the same addictive cycle as trying to fit in with your druggie buddies. So
That's right.
I really think it's important that we have a conversation with the addict before we go to the gym.
How can people connect with you, Boris, and get some coaching classes? If they're not in the Los Angeles, Hollywood area, how can people find you?
Well, you can find me on social media under Sober Fitness. I have a website, soberfitness.com, an Instagram and a Facebook account under Sober Fitness. And if people have questions, please, contact me via those social media platforms and ask your questions. I'm always willing to help. I also have a really interesting situation going on. I'm working with this school, this organization they're called the Addictions Academy, and Callie Estes is running the Addictions Academy, and we got together quite a while ago, and she really felt my passion for fitness, and through her own experience, just like I did, I believe there was a need and a space for people to educate people, not just the individual client that goes to rehab, but the rehab personnel themselves, the sober coaches, the therapists. And we created this the certification class, which is called the Fitness and Recovery Coach, which goes through all the beneficial do's and don'ts for somebody who wants to work with people in recovery as far as fitness and self-care. And it's a 2-day online class. You can find the information on my soberfitness.com page. And I actually have a class this weekend on the 19th and 20th. So if you want to join us, check it out, see if the information is interesting to you, and become a Sober Fitness recovery coach, which I really I have a vision. What I'm envisioning is a universal language when it comes to fitness and recovery. Something that the community can use, a language that we can use to unify behind, to help the addict when it comes to fitness. That's really my goal with this class.
Yeah, I want to acknowledge Callie Estes too, because she's been a good friend to me. She's helped me in many aspects of my recovery and through coaching, and her and her husband Tim have been great friends to me for the past couple of years.
Absolutely. Callie is an absolutely amazing teacher. It's speaking from my own experience, it's one thing to have the knowledge, to be able to pass it on to another person in a way where they understand and they enjoy the information is quite another. And Kelly's one of those teachers that really has that gift to make teaching fun and accessible. And really for you to get the information. I mean, I took a couple of her classes, and it really helped me in my career. So check out the Addictions Academy.
Please do that. Is there anything else you'd like to say, and any parting words, any words of encouragement for anybody out there struggling?
Yes, just if anybody thinks, the stuff we talked about is interesting and they want some more information, you don't have to live in Los Angeles for me to work with you. I do online coaching. For me, it's really more about helping people and putting information out there. So it's not always about just making money. If you need help and you have questions, please, if I can help you in any regards to fitness, nutrition, workout programs, I'd be always be willing to help. So, if people want to have information, reach out, and I'll be willing to help out.
Well, thank you for joining us, Boris. Thank you. You have a wealth of experience and knowledge in recovery and in the fitness and nutritional area. We'll have you back on the show in the future when the weather's better and the connection's a little better. But we did really well tonight. So thank you for being here. Thanks everybody for watching and sharing this. We'll be back again on Sunday with another Survivor Series. So peace out, everybody. Please stay clean and sober today. If not, wake up tomorrow.
Thanks for having me.
We'll do it again.
Thanks for having me. I was great. And let's connect soon again. And
yeah, we need to work on
everybody another.
We need to work on an event. Get some music and some physical fitness together.
Yes, and really quick, I'm thinking about, just jumped in my head. Why don't we do this? You can do with this. Why don't we take a month of my coaching services? Training, online training with nutritional information. Why don't I give you that, and you can raffle that off, or sell it or whatever, and then we donate the money to your favorite charity. So take a month. People can contact me. They get three times a week where they can contact me.
Okay.
And then we raffle it off or something. I'll talk to you about the details later. So,
I know some people that might be interested in that.
Okay, awesome.
I like giving things away. No More Heroin is a 501c3 now, but we will work on something like that in the future. So
awesome. I love what you do. Thank you so much for having me. And let's work on that event that we talked this summer. I think we both got something really amazing here. If we combine forces, we could put on a really cool event. So, okay. You guys have a great evening. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Boris. Have a great night.